to the Justine Dream Team. You may remember this video, the drastic 3-year riding transformation, where I deal with a little pony who is crazy. I go to nationals and I start advancing in my riding career. Well, it's that same girl. I'm back at it again with another video. I apologize for every ear who just had to listen to that. This is the story of the next 3 years of the journey of me and my off-the-track thoroughbred Holly, and how we transformed her from a crazy thing to this insane jumper. Transition music. When I first got Holly, she was very skinny and malnourished, and her coat was really not in the best condition. She just really needed some TLC. She came with some jumping background, not that much. She was still pretty fresh off the track, so she did know how to do things. She just was a little bit quick-footed, and her mind was going really fast. We tried some different bits and different tack out with her, and it was just kind of a bit of a quick, fast mess at first. It also took her a very long time to come back down to a decent, calm trot after we started cantering. So here you see me doing the laps and laps and laps for her to finally take a few steps of calm trotting before I would allow her to walk. She was still a very athletic little horse, but she did need a lot of groundwork and basics reinstalled into her. However, she started getting a lot of nicks and scrapes when I would come out to the barn, and we had no idea what was happening, but I didn't want to ride her and put saddles on where she was getting scraped up and there were wounds. So I wasn't able to ride for quite a bit. It was like every time I came out to the barn, she would have a new scrape, and we could not figure out what was going on. We went out to the pasture and checked everything. Took photos of anything it could possibly be, what was scraping her. But that caused her to have a lot of time off. Nothing killed her spunk, though. It was only until one day I got a call from my trainer really late at night. It was like 11:30. And I was like, uh-oh, this cannot be good. And I was like, hello? And she said, hi, Justine, how are you? And I'm like, good, how are you? And she says, not so good. And I'm like, oh, shoot. She says, one of the horses just badly attacked Holly. And I was like, oh my gosh, is my baby okay? She's not hurt. It was just purely on the skin. Luckily, no deep flesh wounds or whatnot. But Holly did have to have a lot of time off. It was a couple weeks until we were even back in the saddle again. So we were starting from square one once again. But on the bright side, it turns out that is what she was getting all the scrapes from. It was the horse messing with her in the pasture. And luckily, my trainer was able to see it and pull that horse out. So we started slow. I really wanted to get her trot fixed and really just start from the very basics of groundwork. However, look at me, it's another problem. So the saddle that I had that I used with Charlotte and Fergie and stuff started not fitting her and started slipping. You can see how bad it's slipping in that one clip. And this caused Holly lots of discomfort. So that really caused us more setbacks. I tried just not cantering for a while, and then I tried only trotting. And you could see even there, her trotting was uncomfortable for her. So I was like, no, we're not going to do this. And I started trying a lot of more saddles. And really, this was a long process to try and find one in my budget that fit both of us. However, I went away for a bit for summer vacation. I was gone for like a month, and my trainer was riding her with a different saddle, and she was working her and building up her muscle. And when I came back, she filled out more where my saddle actually fit. So I was able to continue to use my saddle. I still wanted to be on the search for one that was more adjustable and could fit her better. So I continued my search. However, we were able to get back on track on continuing to ride and even start jumping. Holly's trot started getting better, like you can see in that clip, but like in this clip, her transitions and canter were still all wacky. If she anticipated a canter transition coming, you betcha she was gonna start hopping like there was one coming. And you can clearly see that in this video. She is totally not organized anymore, and I really wanted to get that under control. So we did a lot of groundwork, especially with her head. You can see that once she figures out that we're going, she just stops engaging and does not want to listen to my cues and just keeps going. So I worked a lot on honing in that nice trot that we got and transferring it over to the canter and keeping her collected through the transitions. And as you can see, her canter and transitions started getting better. So we were able to move on to jumping. One of my biggest, happiest accomplishments and proudest moments I remember is when her canter started getting huntery and not so needing my hands and keep her in that frame and that slow speed. It was such a proud moment whenever I was able to just let the reins loose and she would not run off and get all excited. However, because it's me, we had more setbacks. Holly started going through this really weird phase where she would just start hopping. We started having nice flat or jumping rides and then she'd suddenly go off. Some days were good and some days were bad. I could not seem to figure out what was causing her to react like that. And neither could my trainer. There was no signs of discomfort. We got her hocks injected, chiropractor appointments, all of that checked out. Literally, why did she start doing this? We could not pinpoint it until my trainer had a great idea, noticing that a lot of the times it came from when she was doing lead changes. And I would be very conservative with her flying lead changes. I'd want them nice and collected and slow. However, when she rode her and she would move her more forward through them, she didn't hop as much. And as you can see in some of these videos, even when we're circling through the middle, she'd anticipate a lead change and would start hopping. So we kind of connected those dots and she gave me a bunch of lessons where we worked on moving through the lead changes and moving her past that idea of I'm going to stop and collect and hop through these. Because she has really nice lead changes when we're just like going and I'm not pulling her back through them. So we started doing those exercises along with more intense work to keep her engaged and in focus. It really stopped me from being lazy. Sometimes when she used to hop, I would just be like, okay, we're going to get one more good one without a hop and then we'll be done. And that really did not work for us. I will admit I was just being lazy and would call it quits after that because I did not want to deal with it, especially if I was not in a lesson. I felt like, oh, I was gonna ruin her more, but in reality, me not working well past that was not mitigating the problem at all. So then once we really fixed that on the flat, we started to really advance in jumping, and Holly became so focused on that she did not even think about hopping anymore. There was rarely any hops, and her athletic side really came out. Sometimes she would have the playful occasional one, but we did not hold it against her because of how focused she was on jumping. But through it all, she has always been a super trusting horse who I could do anything on, goof around with, and super forgiving. She was doing so well with jumping, and we even got higher up to the point that we decided it was time to go to our first show. It was her first time off of property too, and she didn't bat an eye at anything. She did not spook. She was not looking around. It was all great until, cause it's me. You know, there's always a twist. During our competition rounds, I buried her to a jump and she lost her confidence inside the competition ring. And I could not do enough to get her out of it. That full story about how our first show went, I have a whole vlog about it, and it really dives deep into all of the mess ups that we had, because we had quite a few. But overall, it was a great time, and we ended the day out with a good schooling. The next day was Hunters, which we don't train for. I do not train at home for her to be all slow and huntery. However, I wanted to play around with it because I really believed in the versatility of Holly, and my trust was not misplaced because she won champion at her first show in something we don't even train for, which was crazy. Oh my gosh, it was such a happy dream come true. Next, we just prepared for more shows, and I knew that summer before college was coming up quickly and I would have to put Holly up for sale. So I was really focused on just getting us to jump at a higher height, because my goal and dream is to compete with her at 3'6" to 3'9" in the jumpers. And she was doing great at home. We had so much fun. She was jumping like a beast, was so responsive and super, super focused on her job, and I just love that character she has. We went to another show and she totally rocked it. We started with the same division we had at our first show, but we also made our debut into the open jumpers, which we did right at the end. And that is the highest division they offer, which is 3'6" to 3'9". It was always my dream to compete at that height with the horse, and we achieved it. Dream, believe, achieve, people. It works. Dream, believe, achieve. And then we just had fun in between the shows, really just having fun. We didn't focus too hard on one thing in specific or put too much pressure on ourselves. We weren't after points or trying to get a year-end ribbon or anything like that, because I just really wanted to have fun with my Holly while I still could. So, the next show came around, and we did the whole open jumpers division, and it was super cool because there were only professionals in the class, and I was the only junior. Even my trainer was in the division with me on her own horse, and Holly killed it. She was so powerful, athletic, and confident. There were tons of trainers talking about how they liked my horse. A lot of buzz was created actually at that show, and a lot of people were attracted to her, which I was really, really proud of, seeing how far we came from her being a crazy little girl to actually piquing other people's interests. And in one class, the only person I was beat by was my trainer. So those are pretty great and exciting stats, especially because I knew this was our last show together. What an awesome note to leave off on. I have yet to release our last show vlog, so that is still to come. Holly and I spent our last few weeks just having relaxing rides, filming videos together, and just enjoying each other's company. And after that show, I put Holly up on the market, and no one actually came and tried her because she was sold in 3 days. She was sold to someone up north, and she seems to be doing great and still a beast of a jumper from what I see. As for me, I joined the Drexel College equestrian team. I start competing in the fall, and I'm excited to see where it takes me. And you betcha I'm gonna be sharing that journey on here. And that's all for now. Looking forward to the next 3 years. Thank you so much for watching our journey. Join me next time. Go out there and dream, believe, achieve. Bye. Goodbye. Seriously, do it. Because I did it and it worked. So, yeah.